All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on a very specific and, let's be honest, often ear-shattering sound. If you share your home with a cockatiel, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's that sharp, piercing shriek they let out the literal second you walk away. Well, we're going to decode that today by looking at the science, the psychology, and the deep-rooted instincts behind this behavior.
So picture this. You stand up from the couch, you take a single step toward the door, you grab your keys, and within seconds, it begins. Just a loud, insistent scream ringing through the hallways. For so many bird owners, this is a highly relatable, super frustrating, and honestly stressful daily reality. It totally feels like your bird is throwing this demanding tantrum, like they're punishing you just for leaving them alone. It's enough to make you dread even leaving the house.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because we need a massive perspective shift right from the jump. See, what we usually hear is this demanding, annoying tantrum trying to control us. But the science reveals something completely different. It's not about noise, and it's definitely not about control. To your bird, that scream translates to something more like, "I love you, please come back, are we safe?" We're going to reframe what feels like bad behavior into a really profound expression of love, fear, and ultimate trust.
To understand this, we gotta look at the science. Experts actually call this sound a contact call, or sometimes a skristle. Yeah, that's a combo of a scream and a whistle. Because cockatiels have these melodic, high-pitched voices, it usually sounds less like a standard parrot squawk and more like, well, kind of like a train whistle on helium. But this noise is actually an ancient survival instinct. It's basically a vocal safety net that they use to check on a flock member's well-being whenever they disappear from sight.
And to truly grasp why they do this, we have to imagine them out in the wild. Picture the vast, open grasslands of the Australian outback. Wild cockatiels are nomadic flock animals, meaning they never, ever spend a single moment of their lives alone. For a wild bird, isolation triggers this deep instinctual panic, because out there, there's safety only in numbers. In the wild, being alone isn't just lonely, it is literally a death sentence. A solitary bird is an incredibly vulnerable bird.
So bringing that back to a captive bird's point of view, a user on a Cockatiel Reddit community summarized it so brilliantly. They wrote, "Why go out and big scary when little comfy, safe food, water, and giant hands come to me for scritches?" And honestly, that hits the nail on the head. To your bird, you aren't just their owner. You are their entire flock. You're the ultimate safe space. When you leave the room, their instinctual safety net just vanishes into thin air.
So when we transition from the wild outback right into your modern living room, we can see exactly how that ancient survival instinct manifests today. It basically turns into bird separation anxiety. And guys, this isn't just a bird being dramatic, okay? This is a very real physiological panic reaction to being alone or separated from a caretaker. Their little heart races, their stress hormones spike, and their whole psyche, which remember is hardwired for being together, just goes into complete overdrive.
If you've been dealing with this, I really want to validate what you're seeing. Beyond that screaming when you leave, the fallout can look like a lot of things. Refusing to eat unless you're in the room, repetitive pacing back and forth, destructive chewing, or even over-preening and plucking their own feathers. It is absolutely crucial to understand that this destruction isn't spite. They aren't mad at you. It's simply a physical release of all that trapped nervous energy.
And if your bird is doing this, let me reassure you right now, this clinginess is not your fault. A major root cause actually goes all the way back to how pet birds are raised. In the pet trade, lots of babies are pulled from the nest before they even grow feathers, specifically so they'll bond super closely with humans through hand feeding. But because of this, they entirely miss out on critical emotional survival lessons from their wild parents, like how to self-soothe, how to play by themselves, and how to just feel secure alone.
This actually brings up a really powerful quote from Dr. Susan Friedman, who's a pioneer in applied behavior analysis. She says, "Behavior is a tool to get needs met." It's that simple. Because these hand-fed birds missed out on their parents teaching them how to self-soothe, they're just using the only tools they currently have in their little toolbox to feel safe. And right now, those tools are screaming and clinging to you.
So, what does this all mean for us? Well, it means we need to change our approach. It's supernatural to want to be the best friend, right? Giving them constant cuddles, letting them ride on your shoulder 24/7. But that actually reinforces a tight emotional bond without teaching them any real-life bird skills. Instead, we really need to step into the role of the parent. Yeah, parent, parrot, you get it. A supportive parent empowers the bird. You're teaching them foraging, independent play, and the confidence to actually feel capable all on their own.
Now, sometimes our own attempts to soothe them can actually backfire. For example, on Reddit, you'll see owners trying to avoid leaving their anxious birds alone by forcing them into those clear plastic travel backpacks to run errands.
And hey, while that looks cute to us, to a bird, this is basically a terrifying plastic bubble. Think about it. They have zero cover, they can't fly away, and they are fully exposed to potential predators. Trying to dodge alone time like this actually just skyrockets their baseline anxiety.
So, we need some actionable, completely guilt-free solutions that slowly teach your bird that alone time is totally safe. Because you really don't have to live with the screaming forever. It starts with step 1, creating predictable routines, because birds absolutely thrive on rhythm. Step 2 is gradually building up that alone time. And step 3 is actively teaching independent play. Let's break these down.
Okay, so building alone time has to be super gradual. Please don't go from being glued at the hip to leaving for 4 hours straight. You want to start with just 1 minute. Just step out of the room. Then, maybe try 5 minutes out of sight. But the absolutely crucial part is the 15-minute mark and beyond. When you come back, do it calmly, with no big fuss. Avoid that giant, energetic mom's home celebration. Coming and going needs to feel like absolutely no big deal, just to avoid those massive emotional spikes.
And here's an immediate, really empowering tool you can literally use today. When they do that crystal contact call we talked about, just call back. Whistle back mimicking their tone, or playfully say, "Hi," with their name in a high-pitched voice. This directly mimics natural flock behavior. It instantly answers their big question of, "Are you safe out there?" and eases their anxiety right away. Actually, ignoring the call completely can sometimes make them panic even more.
Alongside building that alone time, we got to teach them to actually enjoy their independence by making their cage a really engaging place. Try hiding tiny little treats for them to forage. Provide fun, shreddable toys to let out some of that energy. You can even play calming nature sounds when you leave. But most importantly, reward calm solo behavior. If they're just playing quietly by themselves, casually walk by and drop a tiny treat. You're slowly building a confident, totally self-sufficient bird.
Now, beyond just the environment, we absolutely cannot ignore the physical side of mental health. A calm mind requires a balanced diet. If your bird is only eating seeds, they are likely missing out on some major anxiety-busting nutrients, things like B vitamins, omega-3s, calcium, and magnesium. A high-quality pellet diet combined with fresh veggies, which a lot of people call chop, is absolutely essential. Why? Because vitamin deficiencies physically limit their brain's ability to emotionally regulate.
Now, I do want to mention that for birds dealing with severe, self-harming anxiety, avian vets can sometimes prescribe medications like gabapentin or other bird-safe calming aids. But please remember, medicine is a last resort. It's definitely not a magic fix. These aids really just take the edge off. They work best when they're combined with the patience, the routine building, and the enrichment strategies we were just talking about.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you grab your keys and you hear that ear-shattering sound echo down the hall, will you hear a frustrating noise? Or will you hear a profound cry of love, fear, and trust from a tiny little creature who honestly views you as their entire world? You have the tools to rebuild that bond, to empower your bird, and to teach them that they are safe even when you step out of the room.